Hey guys, so it's been a very busy week, but I've also been really missing doing my collective readings. This is going to be a really special reading because this reading is going to be working with the archangels, and the messages are going to be channeled, and we don't know what we're going to get, but it's going to be what we're needing. So let's get started. This reading is going to be a bit of an experiment because normally I set my camera up, I've got my mic on, I'm, keeping it together. But right now I'm literally sitting on Wednesday afternoon, kind of cuddled up. It's a cold fall day here. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to just do it right here and connect with all of you. So if you guys are new to my page, I'm Carey. I'm a medium and a mentor. I'm excited you're here. I also work as a channel. So I work with different spirits, guides, the angels, goddesses to bring forth messages. And I've been working a lot with the archangels as of late. So I want to bring a message forth, I think, from Archangel Ariel. And Archangel Ariel is not as one that is as well known. Definitely, I see her as being female. And she came to me the first time looking almost like a peach golden light. And she approached and I could just feel her radiance, but she also felt welcoming and familiar. And then once I looked a little bit more into her, the history of her and what she works, her specialties, I really understood why she came forth. So she's really connected in with Earth and taking care of Mother Earth, but also she's connected in with abundance, creativity. And so we're going to channel her today and see what she has to say. So right away, I'm getting the 8 of Swords and then the Page of Pentacles. So the interesting thing about like having the Page of Pentacles right next to the 8 of Swords in this case, it makes me feel like what she's telling you is that you keep pushing up against the same thing over and over and over again and expecting new results. And really, sometimes you have to go back to the drawing board and have patience with yourself and really possibly check in and see, what is it that I need to know? Do I need to pivot? Do I need to possibly look at this situation differently and start again? That's bringing up a little bit of resistance in you because part of you is like, I don't want to go back to the drawing board. I don't want to have to start again. I want to be able to proceed, move on, right? But having a learner's mind, being open, and not allowing yourself to measure yourself by how things are, how far you've come, things like that is going to be really important in this case, I think. And so it's going to be a matter of you sort of training yourself to not have these same expectations, because really whatever you're doing, moving up a little, is really, it is new to a certain degree, and you're still in a learning mode. And so because you're in a learning mode, it's going to take a different path for you. So it's really a time to lean in and just trust the process, because it makes me feel like Archangel Ariel is saying, we're working with you to try and have fun and to enjoy the process. But part of learning something new is going in there with like a really open mind and an open heart, is what she's saying. 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Swords. Whoa. I was really feeling this 10 of Swords because it feels to me a lot like, we are at this point where we're finalizing or ending something. And possibly this is you if you've like left a long-term relationship or a long-term career, you've moved, you've had an ending, you have to start again. And this feels like it's complicated, which, technically really makes sense. But at the same time, I think there's a need for you to forgive yourself and to understand that in order to like receive the outcome of what you're wanting, there's a new design coming in. And especially if you're on your spiritual path doing this, the design coming in to me feels a lot like it's going in a different direction. And this is the help where the angels can come in to help you shift, to help navigate, to help guide, to help encourage, right? And Archangel Ariel is really saying, you know, now's the time to just be grounded, be in the moment, and let it unfold, and to be flexible, which is not always easy. Queen of Pentacles, the Tower card. You know, the Queen of Pentacles energy, that earth energy, it's so stabilizing. It's so earthy. Actually, that is like Archangel Ariel in some ways, because she's connected to the earth, right? And I feel like what she's saying is, I'm an instrument to help shift essentially timelines and also the things you thought you were going to do. And there's a re-emergence of you in a whole different manner. And especially when it comes to, you know, I'm getting something about service. And it feels to me a lot of like changing even the way you look at service, about serving. That maybe before there could have been this whole idea of something that felt, oh gosh, more like pressure and expectation. And this is what it means to be a good person. There's some of that good person energy, like in order to be a good person, this is what I have to do. So don't cling on to that idea of being a good person means this, because really, if you're not coming from a place of joy and flow and abundance, and also regulating how you're wired in your programming, or what you're subconscious of how you have navigated, even like with family expectations or society expectations, you're going to be working off an old set of ideas or beliefs that really don't have much to do with who you really are, is what I'm hearing. Super interesting. Next, we're getting the Three of Cups, okay, with the Ace of Pentacles. So this is going to be something, there's going to be a lot more collaboration with people that you're like-minded with. People that are much more playful, much more community-oriented, fun, and it doesn't feel as heavy. It doesn't have to be as hard. That's really what I'm getting. You don't have to do it all on your own. And the things that you're going to build, you might be surprised, because you might be doing much less than you thought. And you don't always have to be in the driver's seat, is what she's telling me. I also feel with Archangel Ariel, she's got a really sweet sense of humor, and she's very playful. She very much connects with like nature spirits too for me, and elementals, and that kind of whimsy and silliness and playfulness. So part of this with the Wheel of Fortune and the Two of Pentacles is that, you know, when we're in the process of changing and something is shifting, the big thing that she's mentioning is that, you know, that gets you off of the fence. It moves you into that place where you're not thinking that, am I doing this right? Is everything working out? You know, sometimes it's just like, you got to let all that go and just say, screw it. I might make a mistake. It may not work out the way I'm thinking. I'm also really drawn to the symbol of these wheels, okay? We've got the symbol of the Pentacles, but the wheel as well here really are sticking out to me. So if you see that, you know, notice that what does a wheel do? A wheel is a perfect circle, right? But it has, just like the wheel of the year, it has seasons. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And it has a rotation. And sometimes with that rotation, in the middle of it, you being rotated, you're turning over and moving and having all different types of different, it's like you're being shaped. You're being shaped into something new is what I'm hearing. Queen of Wands and the Hangman. Okay, Queen of Wands with the Hangman. You know, these two kind of come up against each other. You know, in astrology, you have your opposing forces, right? You have your yin and your yang. You have your stop, your go. You have your fire, your air, earth, water. You have opposites, and that's what really shapes something. Speaking of the shaping of something. And that's what it feels like right now. You're being put through this process of going through the tumbler, like crystals. When you polish a gem or crystals, you have to go through that process of being shaped. And it's not always comfortable getting those edges off of you. And it does kind of place you in this position of like, are we done yet? That's what I'm hearing. Are we done yet? I do not know if we are done yet, but I feel like I'm done. That's what I'm getting. Eight of Cups, right? And the Knight of Cups. So this could be also somebody coming towards you who's trying to say to you, man, you don't have to work so hard. Just relax. Don't worry about it. Now, that can be really helpful in some instances, but just be aware of how some people might say to you, you don't have to do that. You can do something else. Now, I want to say, yes, you can not do that and do something else, but I also feel like you're in a process of big shift. And so don't give up either. And part of this, I think, has to do more so that, you know, some people are going to say, well, that sounds really hard. Are you sure you want to do that? Right? If it's a new position or it's a new career or it's a new thing you're creating, you know, people that aren't used to doing that work aren't used to doing that work. So they might have you throw in the towel earlier. And I think you know what I mean. Because the Eight of Cups typically is a card of like, I've filled up my cup in this way and now I'm moving on to something else, right? And in some ways you are moving on to something else, but don't give up prematurely is what they're saying. So, and you know, and whatever the goal is for you along the path, there are certainly going to be times when it's not easy and it might even be quite difficult. And there's something important to know about that. And this is where we bring in the angels and our guides, which they can really encourage us, bring us levity and balance and inspiration and guidance and alchemy. And they can help us in so many ways. But discernment is key, taking a break and pacing yourself, okay? Here's where the rubber meets the road. The Five of Pentacles and the Seven of Swords. You know, the Seven of Swords, some people say it's like, watch out for deception or shifty people or people that are mistrustful. And then with the Five of Pentacles, that can indicate like financial loss or challenges or difficulties. Now, it can, in some instances, depending on the energy, and if you're picking it up intuitively, that can mean, it can mean that, but I don't think that's what this means. I think this is likely more of a few things. I think this is you possibly making sure that the people that you maybe go to partnership with or people who are around you, that you make sure that you listen to yourself first and foremost and not another person. And also understand that part of you, this is like a more of a deep inner child sort of, I would say, a sentiment or a wound. Some of you, when things get tough, feel like retreating and giving up. And there's a story about you and not being able to do something, okay? So I just want to caution you that even if things feel a little bit, like I said, as though they're challenging, lean into the fact that you can get nurturing and guidance and inspiration from people that will lift you up and believe in you, that have your best interest at heart. But this can also be you working with your guides, and that part of the healing that we go through when we're manifesting something that we really want and desire, or we're working towards our on our spiritual path and we're manifesting something that feels like maybe something we've never done before. Understand that sometimes we might feel vulnerable, and it brings up things from our past. It happens with my clients quite often, right? So just be aware of who you open up to, who you share with, and make sure they have your best interest at heart. I will say that, because people are only going to support you with as much as what they can support you with. And some people just are not going to be in the same place as you. Ace of Cups and the World card. Whew. Noticed here, I kind of feel like I'm getting a lot of these symbols here, which feels like a combination of sacred geometry. We have the Merkaba, and then we also have the Sorcerer's Stone. We have this image of like a six-pointed geometrical shape with a square in it, and it makes me feel like with all these symbols, this is when I know that we're creating on more the spiritual level first, and then things materialize down into the physical. So understand that you are completing cycles here, and also possibly in the higher dimensions. This is one of the reasons why angels and guides can work with you, because they're working from those dimensions. And also the way that you can know that you're making large changes is based upon how you feel. That core essence of how you feel within your heart space, how you feel in your intuition, and know that that's your gauge, that's your measure of how things are going for you. There's something that I think also in this reading I'm getting is about you to really trusting yourself and knowing that you have the makeup and the wisdom and the chops to really to experience what your blueprint, your soul's desire is. And the biggest thing I'm getting here is don't give up. Don't give up, even if it gets hard. So Judgment card in the Eight of Pentacles, that's really a card of like really aligning with your higher self and keeping at it, even if you have to take breaks and step back a little bit, and things are going to come into completion. Yes. So the Empress is here with the Four of Swords. So really a lot of what that has to do with is this level of understanding and patience with the process. Four of Swords, taking time off when needed. And that, remember, when you are creating something and there's a gestation process and you are having to go walk through that experience, okay, to get to the final outcome. This is a process that has stops and starts, that has beginning, middle, and ends, that has pauses integrated into it, that has a regulation of your nervous system and a protecting of your well-being. So I want to encourage you and remind you to take care of yourself along this path. This has been an amazing reading. I want to thank Archangel Ariel for being here with us again, for her love, her humor, her grounded energy, connection to Mother Gaia, and also to our abundance and manifestation. And don't give up. All right. We'll see you in the next reading. Make sure to like, follow, and share. Hey guys. So it's been a very busy week, but I've also been really missing doing my collective readings. This is going to be a really special reading because this reading is going to be working with the archangels, and the messages are going to be channeled, and we don't know what we're going to get, but it's going to be what we're needing. So let's get started.